Guys, my name is Jazz and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, I discuss everything fashion, beauty, and lifestyle. Today I want to do a sit down, get to know me, which should be exciting. If you want to get to know me, stay tuned. I will answer everything people have asked me, where I'm from, what I do, why, all that good stuff. So if you want to get to know me, stay tuned. Today is Mother's Day. I have plans to see my mother. Oh my god, it's so dark in my house. So my room is pretty much the only place I have light, but I figured I would sit down with everybody. But first I'm gonna heat up my coffee and it's going to be a little fun day. So being in front of the camera is not something that I thought I would ever do in my life. I was the extra shy kid in school, high school, had like 2 friends. So if somebody told me like in your adult life that you would be doing YouTube, I would be like, absolutely not. There's no way. No way. But here I am on YouTube. So if people say like, if you are growing up and you think you won't do anything, chances are you'll probably end up doing something close like it or something similar or not similar. But let me get my coffee. I feel like I just can't function without coffee. So that's one thing to know about me. I love coffee. I never used to like coffee in college. I would drink like Red Bulls and stuff like that. But now I'm like, I need coffee. If I don't have coffee, I can't, like I literally can't function. And I'll just reheat the same cup all day. But if I don't have coffee, I just won't function. But yeah, I'm like a stickler too. I measure things. So I measure the amount of creamer I put in. But let's go through the dark and let's sit down and let's chat. So I kind of wanted it to be like a cute like little sit down where I just kind of talk to you guys and just answer questions that people have asked me. And just talk about myself. It's kind of weird just being able to just like talk about yourself. You're like, it's kind of like an interview for YouTube, but I think it'll be fun. But anyways, my name is Jazz, short for Jasmine. I've been on YouTube for about like a year and a half now. It's been hard, it's been tough. It's been fun because I think with starting a YouTube, and if you plan on starting a YouTube, I think you should definitely do it. But it's challenging because of course like in YouTube you just open yourself up in so many different ways and it could be quite scary. So even when I started my YouTube channel, like I was so afraid because I have a blog. It's called thebrowngirlbeautyguide.com. I started my blog, I want to say 2 years ago. I feel like this year ending will be my 3rd year. So I started my blog. I always wanted to start a blog and I was like, but I always stopped myself from doing it. So I kept telling myself like, I want to start a beauty blog. And I just never, you know how you have a thought and you always talk yourself out of it and be like, oh, I can't do that. So anyways, fast forward, I was like, once I started doing more research, I'm like, wow, I can actually start a blog. So I wanted my blog to be for just about beauty, for women of color, just kind of like a little online magazine where you can kind of go and just look at product reviews, see how things like you want to try and just, just read it. So I started with that. It's so funny when I look back at how far I've come in just a matter of 2 years. Like I would just do like my little flat lay pictures, review beauty products. My Instagram was just strictly, taking selfies, doing reviews, and I kind of just got to a point, I'm like, okay, like I love this, it's fine, but I felt like I was so shy and it was just easy for me to just kind of hide behind that. Once I started growing my Instagram a little bit, probably it's like 500 people, I was like, fashion's a big part of my life, and I just read so many things where it's like you should niche down, you should only do one thing, and I'm like, but fashion is just such a huge part of my life, like how could I not share that? So I started doing more fashion photos, like more like talking about what I was wearing and things like that, and I really enjoyed that. And of course, like with Instagram changing every freaking 2 seconds, like it was like, okay, well you should be on another evergreen platform. And people were like, oh, why don't you start a YouTube channel? And like everybody that I followed that I like loved had YouTube channels, and I was just like, oh my god, like no, I don't want to be on YouTube, that's so scary, like I don't want to do it. So of course I talked myself out of it, and then I started doing IGTV. I started doing videos once a week on like foundations that I was trying and everything like that. And once I did that, I was like, you know, I might as well just start a YouTube channel. At least that content will be searchable. And here I am. And I still have my blog, thebrowngirlbeautyguide.com. You should check it out. I'm on YouTube a little bit more, and I've kind of been neglecting my blog, but I still love beauty. I incorporate beauty into my channel. I incorporate fashion into my channel. Hopefully I'll be doing more lifestyle things because the world is opening back up, so it should be exciting to travel again and do those kinds of things. But that's kind of how I started my YouTube. I started with my blog first. I still have my blog. And yeah, but I live in New York City. I grew up in the Bronx, so I lived in the Bronx pretty much all my life. Randomly, probably like in my second year of high school, my mom bought a house in the Poconos, and in the middle of 10th grade, I moved to the Poconos. If you guys don't know what the Poconos is, it's like a small town in Pennsylvania. Not even a town, it's just like a small place in Pennsylvania where people go skiing. There's resorts and things like that. Sounds fun, but like going from being like a city kid to all of a sudden like living in the Poconos was a lifestyle change. I was a city kid that took the bus to school, like the regular city bus, like chose my own high school. So it was very, very different. So I lived there I lived there for like 10 years. Like I finished high school there. I ended up going to college there for 2 years before transferring, and I lived there. So I'm kind of like a city girl, but kind of like a suburban girl too. But living in the Poconos was definitely an experience. It's so much different than a city to live. Like everybody, if you like when you go out, you see the same people from high school that you know. It's just a different kind of thing, like from living in the in the city. Living there as an adult, like a young adult, is like challenging because like if you live in the Poconos, you work in like the resorts, you work in the mall, and I just kind of wanted to have more opportunities, so I moved back to New York, and that's where I've been ever since. So one of the questions like somebody asked me was like, what do I do for a living? So I guess I'll just go back to like my Poconos like college journey. So I went to East Stroudsburg University for 2 years, and I hated it. It just didn't fit me and my personality. I was like, this normal college life is not for me. Like I never actually, like a random fact about me, I never lived on campus for school. I always kind of commuted, and when I went to school in the city, I like stayed with my dad and things like that, and like, you know, go to my best friend's dorm. But I went to ESU for 2 years, and I transferred, and then I went to FIT. So I went to Fashion Institute in the city. And then I graduated from there with a degree, a Bachelor of Science in Marketing. Loved that school. I didn't stay on campus. I kind of commuted to and from. Like some days, like with FIT, which was cool, you could kind of like break down your schedule. So either I would like commute back to the Poconos, stay at my best friend's dorm, or kind of just like stay at my dad's house. But being that I went to fashion school, like it's funny because when I think back at to like going to fashion school, I'm like, oh yeah, you think I would definitely want to work in fashion. But interesting enough, I actually wanted to work in the music industry. So all of my internships were like in music companies. Like I interned at Universal, Jive. My Jive internship was probably the most fun. I got to meet Miguel and like work on his first event when he first came out. If you don't know Miguel, if I could find the picture, I'll put it here. But that was an internship in marketing, and I was like, you know what? Like I want to work this in music industry. I want to do this, and like now the music industry is completely different. So I'm kind of glad that didn't work out. But like once I graduated college in FIT, I graduated in 2011, and if I didn't say, I'm 33. I'll be 34 next month. But when I graduated in 2011, we were in the middle of a recession. Like it seems like every time I hit the peak of my life, it's a recession. But it was a recession, so I couldn't find jobs like in the music industry at all. The music industry was changing, as you know, like with people like doing more digital downloads and streaming. So I ended up having to move back to the Poconos, and then I started my career like in retail. So I've kind of been in my career track has kind of always been retail management. I worked as a manager for like Juicy, Lacoste, and I actually worked in Sephora. So I talk about Sephora a lot because I worked there the longest, and obviously that's my experience in beauty. I left Sephora about a few years ago, and then I started doing like freelance work for certain beauty brands. Hated that. That was unstable, and now I'm a manager for a surgical practice, which is completely different. So you could think of plastic surgery, like lipo. I manage all that kind of stuff, which is so interesting. It's so busy, so hectic. Honestly, I work about 60 to 70 hours a week. It's so intense. I don't even know how I have the time to do this, but I make the time. So if you guys have anything that you want to do, just make the time for it. But my career track has been very different from being in the music industry at all. And now I do blogging and stuff on the side when I'm not a manager in, you know, lipo medicine, surgery kind of thing. So that's like kind of like my career. Do I like my job now? It has its perks. It's very challenging. I haven't had any surgery, by the way, but it's very challenging. It's very, very, very busy. You would think something like that wouldn't be as busy as it is, but it's extremely busy. So yeah, that's what I've been kind of doing. And that's kind of where my career is. So the next question somebody asked me, how do I find balance? Balance is something that I'm working on now currently. I would definitely say to find balance, I would like to say I'm very disciplined. I think you have to be disciplined once you have like a full-time job and you have like a hobby, whether it be YouTube or something that you enjoy doing besides your 9-to-5 job. But I'm very disciplined and I like take pride in it. Like every day besides the weekends, I wake up at 5 a.m. If you watch my stories, like I'm at the gym at 5, like I get up at 5 a.m. I go to the gym. If I'm at the gym, I'm working on editing a video so I can get it up. But me, like having the discipline helps me be more balanced. That way when I work, and the weekends are usually mine to create content and to film. But finding the balance is definitely hard because I feel like just like a normal person, when you're overworking, of course you feel like, oh man, I'm not paying enough attention to my friendships and relationships and things like that. I'm single, by the way. But, you know, you feel like you're not giving enough attention to the things that matter in your life. Like family is important to me. I'm family oriented. So definitely by carving out like the discipline helps me to have more balance, because if I get all my work done, then I can make more time for the fun things. But I'm disciplined. I'm gonna get up. One thing about me, I'm gonna wake up at 5 o'clock Monday through Friday to get stuff done. So questions. So somebody asked me, who is my biggest inspiration? My biggest inspiration is my mother. That woman can do anything she wants. She literally is a boss. So definitely my mom, my Nana, who passed away last year. She's amazing. She's like the first person I looked at growing up who did her lashes individually. She put her makeup on every day. Every time I would go to her house, which is like my apartment now, she always had all her fragrances, her powders, and she just was very, very special. So even when she took care of me and my brother, she always did her makeup, still found time to always take care of herself, go to the gym. That woman had a six-pack in her 70s. So she was definitely inspiration to me. She's so amazing, still is amazing. Somebody asked me, how many siblings do I have? I have 2 older sisters and a younger brother. My younger brother, he's 4 years younger than me, but it's almost like we're the same age. Growing up, we were 4 years apart. I definitely wasn't having it, but now we're close. So shout out to him and shout out to my sisters. Somebody on my Instagram asked me what's one of my dreams. Of course, one of my dreams, I'm not sure when this will happen, because I say it will happen, but I want to start some kind of beauty line of some sort, whether it be like a makeup line or a skincare line. That's something that I would love to do. And one of my other goals that, I'm going to make happen, kind of within the next 2 to 3 years, I definitely want to buy a home in Texas. I think I'm most definitely going to be moving to Texas. I love it there. I definitely want to buy property there. So I'm putting it here in the universe, here on my YouTube channel first, just so you guys know that when it comes, I said it here first. So that is my little get to know me. I just wanted to kind of keep it short and sweet. But if you have any other questions for me, feel free to drop them in the comments. And I want to know more about you guys. So tell me one thing about yourself in the comments. I'll be looking and answering because I answer everything. But thanks for watching. Again, thank you everybody for following me, for subscribing, for watching. I appreciate it so much. If you have any other questions for me, because I didn't want it to be long-winded, but if you have any other questions for me, leave them in the comments. Tell me something about yourself. And until next time, guys, be safe and be well. Bye.